Pinellas County, light rail is being talked about big time, a light rail line that would run from Clearwater to downtown St. Petersburg using a lot of the existing CSX lines. And they're going to be having a light rail forum this Sunday at the Feather Sound Country Club. And joining us right now is the special guest for that event, Randall O'Toole, who is a senior fellow at the Cato Institute, who's written a book called Gridlocked, Why We're Stuck in Traffic and What to Do About It. And Randall, first of all, are you pro-light rail or anti-light rail?
Well, I'm actually, I love trains and I love rail, but I'm very skeptical of the idea of taxpayers spending hundreds of millions or possibly billions of dollars building rail transit.
Yeah, I sort of thought that might be the case when I saw this was sponsored by the Pinellas 912 organization, because they are very much against what they consider wasting taxpayer dollars to build this light rail, and that if it were that important, that if it were really workable, that there would be a private company, a private enterprise that would pick it up. But that's not the case, I don't think, anywhere across the country, is it?
Oh, no rail transit system in the country comes close to making money. The closest is the New York City subways, which cover about half their operating costs, but none of their capital costs.
Now, let me ask you this. What is your idea then? If light rail is not a good idea, what would Randall O'Toole do?
Well, we have buses, and this is the thing. Buses can do everything light rail can do, faster, cheaper, safer, and the cost is so much lower. You can start a new bus route that would go on that light rail route for about 2% of the cost of the light rail. That would be the startup cost. And then the operating cost would be less as well, because it costs a lot of money to maintain and operate a rail line just for a few passengers, whereas the buses would use existing infrastructure. They'd use existing streets and highways.
Randall, there are a lot of people that say that you should offer light rail as at least an alternative for those who did want it, and there are a lot of people who would use light rail but won't use the buses. I have no idea why. Perhaps it's because buses get caught in traffic like cars do. I don't know, but there is a certain glamour to light rail that draws some people. What's your response to that?
Well, if you look around, there's lots of alternatives. There's helicopters, there's dirigibles. Being shot from a cannon is an alternative. Does that mean that the government should spend hundreds of millions of dollars setting up cannons all over the place so they can shoot people to work?
Hey, it might work.
That's, of course.
Might work. I like the idea.
You said
just because light rail is an alternative doesn't mean the government should spend billions of dollars funding it.
You say the transportation planners believe their job is to make congestion worse in order to discourage mobility.
Well, we see this so often. First they build the rail line, and then they say, well, to get people to ride rail, we have to make congestion worse. Minneapolis, for example, they built a rail line, and the rail line totally disrupted the traffic signal coordination on the roads parallel to it. So people who were driving to work took 40 minutes longer to get from one end to the other than they took before the rail line was built.
Not good planning. Randall, one other thing here regarding competitiveness as far as the Tampa Bay area is concerned. We're the 19th largest market, 13th largest media market in the country, and we're the only major market that doesn't have any kind of light rail system. It used to be us in Detroit, which Detroit you can understand because they were the car capital of America at one time, but even Detroit now has a light rail system. What's your response to that?
True. Detroit was considering to build one, and then they changed their minds and just decided not to do it.
Well, that puts us on a par then with Detroit, which is not particularly a good thing, is it?
Well, New York doesn't have a light rail system.
Well, they got heavy rail.
Washington doesn't have a light rail
or
system. They have other kinds of rail, which might be a little more suitable.
Underground.
Light rail is really expensive. It's really ineffective at moving people. It's not a sensible system. To say that we're the only major metropolitan area that doesn't have light rail says we're the only ones smart enough not to blow hundreds of millions of dollars on an ego trip.
So we are right and the rest of the country is wrong. That's pretty good argument, I guess. But, Randall, we appreciate your joining us on AM Tampa Bay. It's the Pinellas Light Rail Forum at the Feather Sound Country Club.
Sunday.
That's on Sunday at 2 p.m., and it's sponsored by the South Pinellas 912. You can go to 912pinellas.org for more information. And, Randall, thanks for being on board, and enjoy your time in the Bay Area.
Thank you, Randall.
Thank you.